after year, the same question keeps echoing across the internet. Why am I this tired? We're all chasing answers to a feeling we share, but rarely stop to understand. You slept 8 hours last night, and you are still exhausted. You're not lazy, you're not weak, and you're definitely not imagining it. But here's what nobody tells you. Sleeping and actually resting are two completely different things. And most of us have never truly rested a day in our lives. Today, we're going to fix that, because by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly why your body feels like it's running on 2% battery, no matter how much you sleep, and what you can actually do about it. Stay with me. This might be the most important 10 minutes of your week. Let's start with the biggest myth in wellness culture. Just get 8 hours and you'll be fine. Here's the problem. Science doesn't actually say you need exactly 8 hours. What science says is that you need enough complete sleep cycles. And those are two very different things. A single sleep cycle lasts roughly 90 minutes and moves through 4 stages. Light sleep, deeper sleep, deep sleep, also called slow wave sleep, and REM sleep, which is where your brain essentially runs its nightly defrag, sorting memories, processing emotions, and flushing out metabolic waste through something called the glymphatic system. That last part is wild, by the way. Your brain has its own internal cleaning crew that only clocks in when you're deeply asleep. They sweep out toxic proteins, including the ones linked to Alzheimer's disease. Sleep isn't downtime, it's maintenance. But here's where people go wrong. If your alarm cuts your sleep at the wrong point in a cycle, say you're ripped out of REM at 6:47 a.m., your brain doesn't get to finish the job. You wake up groggy, foggy, and irritable. Sound familiar? This is called sleep inertia, and it can last anywhere from 15 minutes to 4 hours, depending on where in your cycle you were interrupted. So the number of hours matters less than the quality and completeness of your cycles. And that quality, it's being destroyed by things you probably do every single day. Let's talk about what's actually stealing your energy. And I promise, at least one of these is going to hit uncomfortably close to home. Number 1, light. Specifically, the wrong kind. Your body runs on a 24-hour internal clock called your circadian rhythm. This clock is almost entirely regulated by light. When your eyes detect blue wavelength light, the kind that pours out of your phone, laptop, and TV, your brain gets a very specific message. It's daytime. Stay awake. Don't release melatonin. The problem? Most of us spend our evenings bathing our eyeballs in screens. Your brain genuinely cannot tell the difference between sunlight and your Netflix binge at 11 p.m. So it suppresses melatonin, your sleep hormone, for hours. By the time you actually fall asleep, your circadian rhythm is already off track. This is why you can lie in bed for 45 minutes wide awake, even though you feel exhausted. Your body is tired. Your brain thinks it's noon. Number 2, stress that never switches off. When you encounter stress, your body releases cortisol, the alert hormone. Cortisol is actually useful in short bursts. It sharpens your focus, gives you energy, and helps you act fast. But here's the catch. Your nervous system cannot distinguish between a lion chasing you and an unread email from your boss. Both trigger the same stress response. And in modern life, that response never fully turns off. Deadlines, social media, news cycles, relationship tension. It's a constant drip of low-grade cortisol that keeps your body in a state of high alert 24 hours a day. Chronic elevated cortisol doesn't just mess with your sleep. It literally breaks down muscle tissue, suppresses your immune system, and dysregulates your blood sugar. All of which make you feel like you've been hit by a truck. Number 3, what you're eating and when. Your mitochondria, the tiny power plants inside your cells, produce your actual energy. But they need the right fuel to do it. A diet high in ultra-processed foods, refined sugar, and seed oils creates something called mitochondrial dysfunction. Basically, your cells become inefficient at converting food into usable energy. You eat, and instead of feeling energized, you feel sluggish, because your cells are working harder for less output. Timing matters too. Eating a large meal, especially one high in carbohydrates, causes a spike in blood sugar followed by a crash. That post-lunch slump you think is normal? It's not. It's your blood sugar bottoming out and your body scrambling to compensate. Number 4, the one nobody talks about, mental overload. There's a concept in neuroscience called decision fatigue. Every single decision you make, from what to wear to whether to respond to that text, draws from a finite daily reserve of mental energy. By the time most people get home from work, they haven't done anything physically strenuous, but they've made thousands of micro decisions. Their prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for judgment, focus, and willpower, is essentially out of gas. This is why you feel exhausted after a day of meetings, even though you sat in a chair the whole time. Thinking is expensive, and we're spending way more than we're earning back. Now I need to go deeper, because physical tiredness is only one layer of this. Researchers and therapists have identified something called the 7 types of rest, a framework developed by Dr. Sandra Dalton-Smith, and it explains why so many people feel depleted even after a full night of sleep and a quiet weekend. We need more than physical rest. We also need sensory rest, a break from constant noise, screens, and input. Emotional rest, the freedom to stop performing, stop managing other people's feelings, and just be honest about how we actually feel. Social rest, time away from people who drain us, and more time with people who genuinely restore us. Creative rest, exposure to beauty, nature, and inspiration that replenishes rather than demands. Mental rest, actual, deliberate pauses from thinking, not scrolling, not podcasts, silence. Spiritual rest, a sense of meaning, purpose, and connection to something beyond the daily grind. Most of us are sleep resting, but we're running deficits in every other category, and those deficits stack. If you feel emotionally exhausted, no amount of sleep will fix it. If you feel like life has lost meaning, a nap won't touch it. You need the right type of rest for the right, and that requires actually knowing which tank is empty. Let's get practical, because this video isn't just about making you nod along. It's about actually changing something. Step 1, protect your sleep architecture. Use an app or a wearable to figure out when you naturally complete your sleep cycles, and try to set your alarm at the end of a cycle rather than in the middle of one. Even a 15-minute adjustment can transform how you feel waking up. Step 2, get morning light early and deliberately. Go outside within 30 minutes of waking up. No sunglasses. 10 minutes of natural light exposure anchors your circadian rhythm for the entire day and makes it dramatically easier to fall asleep that night. This is free. It works better than almost any supplement. Step 3, build a stress-off ramp. You need a consistent ritual that signals to your nervous system. A walk, a short journaling session, a real conversation with someone you love. The ritual matters less than the consistency. Give your cortisol somewhere to land. Step 4, do a rest audit. Tonight, ask yourself, which of those 7 types of rest am I most deprived of? Not which one sounds nice. Which one do you actually need? Then design your next weekend around that specific deficit. One deliberately restorative weekend can do more than 3. Step 5, reduce decision overhead. Step 5, systematize the small stuff. Meal prep, a capsule wardrobe, a morning routine that runs on autopilot. Every decision you automate is cognitive energy you preserve for the things that actually matter. Here's what I want you to leave with. You are not tired because you're weak. You're not tired because you're failing at life. You're tired because you're living in a world that is specifically designed to keep you stimulated, stressed, connected, and reacting every waking hour of every single day. Your tiredness is not a character flaw, it's a signal, and signals are only useful if you listen to them. So listen, rest, real rest, is not laziness. It is the most productive thing a human being can do, because everything you want to build, create, feel, and experience in this life, it all runs on you. Take care of the machine. If this video made you think differently about your energy, share it with someone who's been running on empty. They need to hear this.